Because if you can control people's minds, you can rule the whole world. For those who don't know how to earn money or acquire sex in legitimate ways, exploiting a group of naive people by brainwashing them and locking them into a very narrow worldview is a very, very effective survival strategy that is very self-biased and self-serving. Of course, that's the whole magic of being able to create a worldview, is that when you create a worldview, you don't just create any random worldview. You create the worldview that will serve your ego and its survival the most. Cult is a hierarchical organization which is designed to serve some narcissistic, charismatic leader who's usually interested primarily in sex, money, and power. And then a cult puts a lot of its resources and attention into recruiting others into this hierarchical organization, because really it's like a pyramid scheme. The resources are meant to funnel upwards, so the cult and the cult leader and the cult lieutenants who are serving the leader towards the top of the pyramid, they are basically leeching resources from the very bottom of the pyramid. They do this unlike a traditional pyramid scheme, which is just trying to get money from you. Here, they brainwash you into a perspective, a way of seeing the world. You become so locked into that perspective that now you're willing to donate lots of money, you're willing to support the cause, you're willing to bend over backwards for the leader, you're willing to surrender your power, you're willing to surrender the way you think, and then you become like a sheep and you're very easy to control and to manipulate. And that's exactly what the leader and his lieutenants want, because then that gives them a lot of power. They can use that, and the ego loves power, sex, and money. The more ego one has, the more shadow one has, the more one wants to wield power and acquire money and luxury and fame and sex. Cults use psychological manipulation tactics in order to lock members in and then to make them paranoid about ever leaving. They try to isolate you from your family and from your friends so that you're easier to control. And so this is the power of ideology and the power of the mind. See, most people think that the mind is just this silly, innocent little thing. You know, you can have different ideas and beliefs and it doesn't really matter, it doesn't really change reality. But it very much does. It leads to suffering and harm. And the biggest problem from my point of view is that it leads one away from the truth. It leads away from consciousness. And a lot of times it's tricky because these cults, they don't advertise that they're doing this. These cults portray themselves to be the good guys. In fact, a cult tends to create a sort of a black and white, us versus them, we're the good guys, they're all the bad guys sort of frame, such that anyone in the mainstream is portrayed to be a fool, and that those who are in the cult are actually the ones who are in possession of the truth, and the ones who are really the good guys, the loving ones, the saviors of mankind. So it is very sneaky. But also you can see past these delusions and deceptions pretty easily if you're aware of what to look for.